Acadiana's Morning News. We've talked about the tax bill. Bernie had an update from Fox in her newscast, and we are joined by Congressman Mike Johnson, one of our representatives there in D.C. Good morning. Good to talk to you again. We're happy to have you on the show.
Hey, Rob and Bernie, good to talk with you.
Well, we appreciate the chance to chat. So before we get into tax talk, wanted to ask you, you will be in Evangeline Parish for a town hall meeting tomorrow, correct?
That's right. The southernmost portions of the 4th Congressional District, which is mine, is 15 parishes, covers Beauregard, Allen, and Evangeline, and a bit of even St. Landry, so very close to Lafayette there. But, yeah, we'll be in Ville Platte tomorrow from 1:30 to 2:30 for our 19th town hall of the year. So we're looking forward to that. We'll be at the Boys and Girls Place on South Thompson Street.
Well, and, you know, I think it's good for people to know how often some congressional members want to be out there, that you guys really do want to hear what people have to say.
It's a critical part of the job, and the best way that we have to get with the constituents and hear their concerns and then come back to Washington and be their voice. I think it's a critical component of what we do.
So let's talk a little bit about this tax bill, this tax plan. So economists are all over the map. Oh, yes, it's going to help. Others, oh, no, it's not going to help. But this really seems like it's going to pass. Just what are some of your thoughts, Congressman? What do you think about it?
Well, look, it's been 31 years since we updated the tax system. I was in the 8th grade the last time we got this done under Ronald Reagan, okay, for reference. And this is desperately needed. Everyone has recognized until now we need tax reform. The federal tax code right now, you guys, is 60 times longer than the Bible, and it contains none of the good news, okay? So we need to dramatically simplify it, all right? So our plan is going to create more jobs. It's going to make taxes a system that's more fair. It's ultimately going to lead to bigger paychecks, and that's going to be critically important for a state like ours. We have a lot of middle and working class Americans, small businesses, who are going to rely on these big changes. And I think at the end of the day, all boats are going to rise. This is going to be a great thing for the American economy.
How much is it, do you think, too, the idea that, okay, now something is getting done? Because there have been a lot of false starts about some issues. You know, people are swayed by their perception of things. And if people think, hey, tax cut is coming, maybe people will be a little more loose with their money.
Well, I think so. I mean, just look at, the stock market. We've had, I think, almost 70 now consecutive record highs just since the election last fall. And I think much of that is in anticipation of these big changes, these big reforms getting done. I think that we're going to double our economic growth. I really think we can do that. We're hobbling along right now at about 3%, which is nothing to sneeze at. But we could get this up to 6.5% or 7%, which is what happened in the mid-'80s when they last did tax reform. So we really think this is going to be a boost to the economy. I mean, you look at corporate tax rates, we have the highest in the industrialized world right now. It's absolutely insane. We're going to drop that down to about 20%. And from 35% where it is right now, and that's going to allow corporations to bring their operations back from overseas, add more jobs, expand more product lines, new locations. We need that in this country, and then small business tax rates as well. And that's not even to mention the individual tax rate decreases. So this is going to help families. It's going to help a lot of people in our state. I think everyone ultimately is going to benefit from it, and it's a long time coming.
I want to ask about, our area down here. We deal in the production and fabrication in the oil industry. Up closer to your district, you're dealing with more fracking, other processes that are still moving along, maybe not as much as it was a few years ago. But what are the concerns there as far as the oil industry going in that direction and continuing to grow in your part of the state?
Well, listen, this tax plan, these reforms are going to help the oil and gas industry tremendously. I mean, one of the things we've already done for the industry is roll back these unnecessary and burdensome regulations. Over the previous 8 years in the Obama administration, they added a labyrinth of new rules and regs on the industry. So we began cutting that red tape in January, and that's going to be a continuing theme through this Congress. And the tax reform is going to help as well. I mean, you think about reducing small and family-owned businesses' taxes, maxing it out at about 25%. Right now, that some of them pay an effective rate of nearly 40%. It's going to give them a lot more capital to invest. And the bigger companies, they're obviously going to benefit. We're going to allow them to expense their capital investments so they can immediately write off or expense the cost of new investments in depreciable assets, for example. So this will allow them to invest and build and expand, and that's going to lead to more jobs.
Certainly, we do hope so, especially for our area. Congressman Mike Johnson has been joining us. Sir, thanks so much for your time.
Hey, it's great to be with y'all. We'll do it again soon.
And look, next time we talk, Congressman, I want to talk about this Honor and Civility Caucus because I think it is an awesome idea.
Wait. Do you have another minute?
Bernie, you want to just make time for us right now?
Yeah.
Sorry, Congressman.
Sure.
Okay, I'm sorry because I found this morning and kind of prepping for the interview. But this Honor and Civility Caucus, you have teamed up with Florida's 13th District Representative Charlie Crist across party lines to really, I'm reading in a story right now, quote, promote the ideals of civility and statesmanship to restore trust and confidence in America's political institution. Man, do we need something like that now with both sides willing to work with each other?
You said it, Rob. I mean, that's been a big theme of our freshman class. 55 new members of Congress. We began in January promoting this idea to change the tone in Washington. I think we need to set an example as the nation's leaders. You know, I've got 4 children. I'm embarrassed by a lot of the things that happen here. I want to set a better example, and so I feel like we need to lead by that example. So I drafted a document called the Commitment to Civility in January, and as of last week, we had 120 signatures, members of Congress who have signed on and committed to change the tone and treat one another with respect and dignity again. We can have different political ideas, but we can disagree in an agreeable manner, and that's important. So we just launched a new caucus just 2 days ago, the Honor and Civility Caucus. We've already got scores of members of Congress who want to be a part of that because we're going to try to lead by example, and I think that's another thing that's been a long time coming.
All right, well, we will catch up with you soon on that. We'll talk to you real soon, Congressman. Thanks for making the time.
Thank you, guys. Have a good morning.
Merry Christmas.
You too.
All
Merry
right.
Christmas.